Well, it's lunchtime, and we're gonna go from this to this. Hey, what's up everyone? James from Junkyard Fox. Thank you so much for joining us. And today we're starting a brand new series on urban foraging. So we are smack in the middle of our city. We're in a vacant lot, and I wanted to talk about this plant right here. Now this plant is called London Rocket, Cimbrium ireo for you plant nerds, also known as hedge mustard or tumble mustard, and it is in the mustard family alongside arugula and cabbage. Now in the Western world, this plant is very much viewed as a weed and a pest, but it is actually a very highly nutritious plant. It's also very plentiful. It has spread to all 6 continents, minus Antarctica, of course. And I mean, at least in my neck of the woods, this thing is out available almost year round. We're currently filming in the middle of January, and look how plentiful and rich and green these plants are. And they last easily till about late summer, and then they die off for a little bit, and then they start growing right away. So originally from Eurasia, this plant is technically an invasive species, and man, is this thing a nuisance when you're trying to mow the lawn. So this was my arch nemesis as a kid. Every Saturday, I used to have to mow the lawn to get my allowance money. Those Jurassic Park dinosaur toys weren't going to pay for themselves. And every week, these guys would just start growing, and they'll grow everywhere. I mean, not only in the wilderness, but you'll see them in vacant lots, in alleys, in parking lots, all kinds of places, and they just thrive, especially if it's been raining as it has been this week. So the way to distinguish this plant is it starts with a little basal row of leaves, and once again, they look like arugula because they are related to them. And then you'll see the stem growing with a tight cluster of small yellow flowers, and then these little finger-like protrusions beneath the flowers. And the leaves are edible, the flower is edible, as well as the seeds. Now, to be completely honest with you guys, I really only eat the leaves. They taste, once again, like arugula, slightly bitter, slightly peppery, but not overwhelmingly so. As opposed to the flower, which is just, I mean, to me, it's just really potent. It tastes almost like wasabi, just really peppery, just really, a little goes a long way. So once again, generally, I stick to the leaves. This stuff grows so plentiful that you can afford to be picky. So I really just only eat the leaves. And of course, if you're going to be gathering some of these, be sure that you're gathering from a safe place where it hasn't been contaminated by pesticides or chemicals such as, car oil or something like that, or animals haven't been around it, like dogs haven't been crapping on it and stuff. And of course, go for the younger shoots, the dark green shoots. They're going to be a lot healthier and tasteful than, an older plant that seems a little wilted or something like that. Let's grab a couple of these leaves and bottoms up. Slightly bitter, slightly peppery, but they're fine. As for the flower, not a big fan. It's really strong. It's really pungent. I generally will not eat that. I don't know. Maybe you should try it, but not for me. I'll stick to the leaves. So now, Cuervo's going to try them. I believe is this your first time trying London Rocket?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what are your thoughts on it. Let's go ahead and grab a little bit of the leaves. You can get like 2 leaves.
Just trying to see if there's no dirt on it. All right. It's interesting. I could see where the mustard kind of falls into it. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. All right, now let's go ahead and try a flower.
Whoa. That's potente. It's pretty good though. It's palatable? Is that the word?
Palatable?
Palatable, yeah. That's pretty cool.
So as you can tell, it can be eaten raw. So in some kind of emergency situation, you know, some Great Depression, whatever, post-apocalyptic thing, you can just eat these as is. However, of course, we all have houses, you know, we can all just take some home and mix it with our meals. And that's what I've been doing all week. You know, I want to, you know, put my money where my mouth is. I don't want to just eat 2 leaves and make a video on that. So this entire week, I've literally been eating these guys with all my dinners. So this whole week I've been steaming it, stewing it, sauteing it, all kinds of stuff, mixing it with my salads, and honestly, it's pretty good. Once again, generally I avoid the flowers and I just eat the leaves, but it really is pretty damn good. I mean, I basically have a garden here in this vacant lot next to my house. So today we're gonna gather some, and I'm gonna show you what's my favorite way of preparing it. We're gonna cook it up with some squash, jalapenos, to make something like a sauteed squash medley with it. So let's get to it. All right, so there you go, a very simple recipe. You're just basically sauteing these guys until they soften up, and as you can tell, this basically looks like spinach at this point. So, bottoms up, let's try this out. Very good. It very much gets the consistency of spinach. Very peppery. Now, if you noticed, I didn't even put black pepper because it was already going to be very zesty, so I don't want to overdo it. Especially with the jalapenos, it's going to be very spicy, but very flavorful, but not overly so. Once again, I removed all the flowers because I don't want those in there. It will ruin the taste, in my opinion. But really great stuff. Makes a great side when you make a little steak or some catfish on the side. Really delicious. Want some? All right, and Cuervo, moment of truth. First time tasting London Rocket cooked. So let me know what you think.
Very spicy.
Yeah, the zestiness, plus we added blackening.
It's very, I don't know how to explain it. It's like aromatic, very zesty and peppy, but it's really good though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all around us at all times, and it's just, yeah, just, it's very surprising. One of the better wild foods we've ever eaten.
I'm gonna pitch this to Gordon Ramsay.
To Guy Fieri.
Oh yeah.
Hey, don't eat that. That's not for you. Hey, no. This is great. I really wish we had added some mushrooms. I think mushrooms would really add something to this. But other than that, I mean, it's very simple to make, very good. And once you cook it, it removes what little bitterness it does have when it's eaten raw. So, really easy recipe. Once again, cook this alongside your steak, your catfish. Really great stuff. Now, it is a delicious meal, as I've mentioned, but what about nutrient-wise? So the raw leaves contain an abundance of vitamin C, 68 milligrams or 100 grams, also contain calcium, potassium, magnesium, iron, and zinc. Now, it's also said to have medicinal uses, a lot of folk remedies. I'm not going to talk about them here because I really couldn't find any concrete scientific evidence or studies to corroborate them. So honestly, I'm just going to kind of leave them as just folk medicine. But you could just Google search it if you're so inclined. But once again, a very abundant plant, a very easily identifiable plant as well. It's tasty, it's nutritious, and it's very versatile. And like I said, I've been eating it all week, and it's really great. So at first, I steamed it with some catfish and white rice. That one was pretty good. I do got to say, I did leave the flowers on them, and so it was really, really just overly zesty. Once I removed the flowers, it wasn't so bad, but that was pretty good. I've also just mixed them raw with some greens as well, some baby spinach, some baby lettuce, and cooked those with some chicken tenders, and they were pretty good as well. And what else? I've also cooked them alongside a steak as well. So, I mean, I've been, once again, all week for dinner, I'm incorporating the London Rocket into my meals, and it really is very good. Well, that's about it for us, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and I hope it encourages you to do some urban foraging. Now, as always, when it comes to urban foraging, be careful where you're picking. You don't want to get something that's been exposed to pesticides or any kind of chemicals. Now, we're in the city, so to a degree, everything is going to be exposed to these things. Preferably, I would have liked to have done this in a wilderness setting. But then again, I really want to focus on the fact that it is an urban plant, and in case of an emergency for whatever reason, this is an edible food source. And not only is it nutritious, it's abundant, and it's actually pretty palatable. Now, there's a lot of videos that we've done in the past when it comes to wild foods that they are a wild food and an emergency situation will feed you, but not something that I would necessarily eat voluntarily. For example, yucca fruits. I find them pretty gross. But this, like I said, I've been eating it all week, and it's pretty good, easy to fix up in different styles, once again. And what I like about these is that they're very identifiable, very easy to identify, and very abundant. So it's a great stepping stone into getting into foraging. I know a lot of people want to get into that, but they're scared of, what if they get the wrong plant and they get sick and so on and so forth. So this is a great starter plant. Just once again, make sure you're getting it from a clean area. Now, all this area that we just filmed, it's just the vacant lot next door to my house. So I know nobody comes in here because it's closed off. Only me and my cats can come in here. So I feel pretty safe there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any questions, comments, suggestions. And we'll see you guys next week with another video. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.